Cities across Canada make millions of dollars every year by selling recycling materials to China, but that's changing, leaving many trying to figure out what to do now. China has now banned some foreign recycling materials, so where does that leave us? Joining us for more on this from Bluffton, Alberta is Christina Seidel, Executive Director of the Recycling Council of Alberta. Good to have you with us this morning.
Nice to be here. Thanks.
Let's talk about these new guidelines. What are they?
Well, there's just very strict quality requirements that require us to have only the top quality materials, especially paper and plastics, going to China now.
So we're showing our viewers right now on the screen. So we're talking about things like no food waste on newspapers, no mixing metals, plastic, no mixed layer packaging. Is that right?
That's correct. Basically, it has to be pure materials that are going for recycling, essentially the same standards that our highest quality recyclers here would have.
So what does China use these recyclables for?
Well, you can imagine China is a very large manufacturing company, so they need feedstock for their manufacturing processes. And a lot of those materials, of course, then we buy back. So because they need the feedstock, recyclables are a great source of feedstock for them, so they don't have to actually use natural resources.
So is China losing out by enforcing these tough guidelines, would you say?
Well, that's a very good question because nobody really knows exactly the full motivation behind this. But I think China is essentially, from what I've heard, is really trying to clean up their industry. So I would say they're actually, certainly from their point of view, they're actually going to be improving things for them because they'll get a higher quality material, which is a better resource then for their manufacturing process.
Okay, so what will cities like Toronto, Calgary, Halifax, where are they going to send their recyclables now?
Well, this is exactly the question that's being asked everywhere. Because China has been such a ready market for us, essentially we have to find alternate markets. And that if we can produce high enough quality materials, the recyclables have a global market, so they can go to other countries. But the thing we need to remember is we have a very strong recycling industry in North America as well. And we need to pay attention to that. And we need to try to produce the materials and honor the industries that are here in Canada and in the United States so that we have a closer access to markets right here.
How big of an impact will this have on the bottom line of some of these cities in our country?
That's actually very variable by the city and by the jurisdiction. So there are lots of places that essentially it really won't affect them that much from a monetary basis because they already have strong markets. A good example of that is British Columbia. They have a provincial program that can actually meet the requirements, and as a result, they have most of their materials are actually sold domestically. For some other municipalities, it's actually going to be a problem because if they can't access the markets that they have, essentially what it does, you take out one of the big market players in the industry and the others are a lot more competitive. And so as a result, what it means is that the value of the materials essentially, because there's so much competition, can absolutely go down.
You mentioned alternative markets or secondary markets looking to cash in. What are the options?
Well, I think this actually does create some opportunities for us because if we improve the quality of the materials that we're supplying, it does open up that possibility that we can have more domestic markets. More investors may actually invest here and create more recycling opportunities here. And as a result, I think that the long term may actually be positive, not negative, because it gives us more resiliency going into the future.
That's very interesting. Christina, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thank you.